and you thought your Airbnb stay was rough. Barbarian was written and directed by Zach Crager, who did Miss March in the Civil War on Drugs. This stars Georgina Campbell, Bill Skarsgård, Justin Long, with Matthew Patrick Davis and Richard Brake. And this is at somewhere in a suburb of Detroit, where Tess, on a rainy night, pulls up to a house. It's a fancy old house, a nice little cozy place. It's an Airbnb, and she's looking forward to a nice night of relaxation before a job interview. And she pulls up, and things are really, really weird because there's no key in the box. Like, she can't get in the door. She calls the number doesn't answer. And then she gets back in her car, and she's like, okay, what the fuck do I do? The light comes on. It turns out somebody else is already staying there. Keith, played by Bill Skarsgård, not playing a creepy clown in this. God, Bill Skarsgård's fucking terrific. And basically, it turns out he booked this, so it's a double booking. And he comes up with the idea, look, it's not exactly the best neighborhood, so just how about this? They have a bit of a chat. They have all this and whatever, even though they're really, really awkward with each other because, damn it, I wanted this place. No, damn it, I wanted this place. They come to an agreement. He says, look, how about this? We can't get a hold of the person. Let's just crash here. Let's, sleep in separate rooms. You take the bed, I'll take the couch, and then we'll call them in the morning. Okay, they have a nice night. They share some stuff. They talk about some things. And then the adventure begins, because then things really start to get a little bit unique, and it turns out that maybe there are strange things going on in this particular place that they could have never possibly anticipated. So if you have seen the trailer, I will say that the trailer, it is a bit, I guess, vague, but it also gives you an idea that you're going to be in for some fucked up shit. I will say right now, before I get into spoilers here in a couple minutes, you are going to see some fucked up shit. You're going to see some very bizarre shit. And Zach Crager did a damn good job with this. This was really fucking terrific. I was actually very surprised by how much I liked this, because since I didn't know that much outside of like one or two trailers I saw, I went in totally fucking blind. Like, I was like, okay, I saw this. I read up on the plot description. I like Bill Skarsgård. Georgina Campbell is fucking beautiful. And Justin Long's in this as well. And there's, Richard Brake. He was, the creepy skeletal-like soldier in Doom. Doom. And there are a few other actors you will recognize in this. People that have been in, some big stuff. And then people who have just found nice roles, a nice way of doing supporting roles and everything. Like, oh, I remember them. It's populated with some people that you will recognize, but it centers on a few particular characters, and it creates great atmosphere. Zach Crager honestly understands how to craft a horror movie that, yes, on the surface seems like, okay, this character is doing something really stupid. Why didn't you just go do this? Why did you do that? What the fuck's wrong with you? Don't do that. Don't go in there. What are you doing? You're going to get that stuff in any movie, but this also, while being totally bizarre and bonkers at times, and it does have a few moments where you're like, what the fuck is actually going on? It also seems bizarrely grounded, like some shit could be happening right under your nose that you couldn't possibly anticipate. Like, holy shit! Yes, it's a horror movie. Yes, there's ridiculous shit. And yes, there's honestly some stuff where I'm like, okay, that character was just really dumb just for the sake of advancing the plot. But what was nice about this is the performances. Georgina Campbell did terrific in this. Bill Skarsgård did terrific in this. Justin Long, who I have liked since Jeepers Creepers. Oh, where did you get those eyes? Yes, he was the guy that got his eyes taken out in Jeepers Creepers. If you haven't seen Jeepers Creepers, I'm sorry. It's been out for 21 fucking years. But he was really good in it. So, you have these three actors who are at various points in their career. Georgina Campbell deserves more meaty roles after this. Bill Skarsgård, fucking terrific. There's just a lot of really good atmosphere and some really damn good cinematography. The cinematographer was fucking wonderful in this. And they understood, long panning shots, some great stuff, like making, it seem like you are stuck in a particular area. Even if it seems like you might have an escape, you might not. Maybe you got all this shit in your head, or maybe just some really fucked up shit's gonna happen. I am gonna get into spoilers here in just about a minute, but I will say it's really, really damn well crafted. Zach Crager deserves more opportunities to make horror movies. If this is the kind of shit he can make, then I absolutely am locked in for the next thing that he does. Great acting, very good atmosphere. When the fucked up shit starts happening, boy, does it ever. And it explains it, but it also doesn't. It understands that stuff stays scarier when you don't see it, or you can see some things but then it takes you away from that, and then it builds some stuff up. It does rely on the jump scare, a couple times, that I think was a little bit unnecessary. But that being said, I'm not going to let that minor quibble take away from the fact I really had a great goddamn time. This may actually be one of my favorite movies of the year. This may be. I'm surprised it got a theatrical release. I'm not complaining. I'm a bit surprised that Shudder or another streaming service didn't pick it up, but it is really goddamn good with 3 great performances by the leads, and even the supporting roles were really well done and really well crafted. And I don't know what the budget for this was, but it obviously had some type of low budget, but it really was well crafted, very well shot, great stuff. So I'm going to get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Okay, so here's the spoiler section. The Airbnb thing goes tits up, in part because, while Tess is sleeping, her door opens. Keith is having some weird nightmares. She tries to wake him up. Oh, what the fuck are you doing? Whenever oh, no, nothing bad happened. What the hell are you talking about? He leaves that morning. I guess they're going to stay for a few days. And hey, I had a great time chatting with you and everything. See you tonight. Just leave the key in the box in case I get back before you. And she went and had a job interview. And this job interview went well. And then she gets back there, and it turns out that when she went out the door, see, it was a rainy night, and it was at night. She goes out. That's the only house that isn't in total disarray, because this is a suburb of Detroit that is not in good shape at all, and we find out why here in a little bit. It looks like literally like bombs went off. I mean, it's insane. She has a job interview. It gets back. She's being chased down by some homeless guy that's panicking, like, hey, come back here. I mean, he wasn't being mean. It turns out there's actually a reason why he was yelling and frantically running at her. She gets back in the house. And then she ends up, finding out this one door opens. This door at the same, it's not a very big house. That's the thing. It's a bedroom. There's a basement. She goes in the basement. She looks around. Normal basement, this kind of stuff. And finds a weird squeezy toy. Picks it up. There's a rope on the thing. Pulls the rope. There's a weird path. This concrete slab opens. Okay, that's a little unusual. You don't really want to go in there. So what she does, she decides, nope, I'm not going to. But then wait, I am going to go in there. I set up a mirror so this light could reflect. I didn't want to bring a flashlight, but she decides to go down there, and she sees this room at the end. The end on the left. It's just a small hallway. And there's a camera, a dirty mattress, and a bucket, and a bloody handprint on the wall. Okay, this wasn't in the description when they decided to book this, so nope, I'm leaving. Keith gets back, and oh my God, Keith, we got to get out of here. So what they end up doing is, naturally, Keith says, look, let me look down there, and then we'll go. Give me 30 seconds. And she also got locked in the basement, by the way, the door locked, and there's a reason why the door only opens from one side. We find out why. But she's going to go down, and she doesn't hear from him for a bit, and sort of hears a faint yelling. Okay, that's not good. And she's only known this guy for maybe 12 hours. But this door almost closes. She puts this chair in the way to block it, gets her cell phone camera out, or not her camera, but her flashlight. It's a flashlight feature. And goes to the room. Doesn't see him. Doesn't see him on the bed. What the fuck? The wall at the end. Opens it, and there's this deep stone stairwell. It's like this cave. What the fuck? What the fuck's going on? This is where I'm like thinking, oh, okay, it's going to be like one of these type. Give me this. Wonder what the fuck's going on. She gets down there and she sees some weird stuff. hears some noises, because you're in an underground cave as opposed to an above ground cave. That's not really possible. That's called a tunnel. Even then, that's still underground. Moving on. She gets down there and she sees some dog cages, or cages that have dishes with rotted stuff in. And then she hears something. It's Keith. Keith is all panicked. Oh my God, Keith, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Something bit me. What the fuck? Something bit me. No, we gotta go. Well, we can't go that way. That's where they came from. They! Who is they? Or it? What's going on? And then, suddenly, this creature, like this, I think a woman, boom, boom, just bangs Bill Skarsgård's head against the wall, and he's dead, and suddenly Tess freaks out, and then we go to black. And then we cut to somewhere in California, where Justin Long is a big-time actor that is all happy and everything. He's got a pilot episode that's going to be picked up, and the season's going to be picked up in his of this show, this particular show. He gets a conference call, and it turns out that the co-star has accused him of assaulting and R-ing her. That's the only word I'm going to use. I'm not going to say otherwise. And basically, his finances are going to be fucked because he's going to be sued. He's got to, countersue. He's got to do all that. And his life's falling apart. Maybe he did this. Maybe he didn't. Spoiler, he did. But, I don't really think that's very, very shocking. 9 times out of 10 when assault comes up. Yes, there's a 1 out of 10 time. But 9 times out of 10, man, woman, animal, vegetable, or mineral. Don't take advantage of somebody like that. What the fuck's wrong with you? He's panicked. He decides, hey, wait a second. I've got a property here in California. I've got properties in Detroit. Oh. $5, you want to bet about which one of these properties in Detroit is his? Yeah, it's the 476 Airbnb. That's what it is. That was the address on there, by the way, because apparently that's the only nice house there that somehow hasn't been burned down. Now, he flies to Detroit. Even though he is probably going to be arrested because of something that he did. His lawyer says, yeah, probably shouldn't have flown out of state. It's not a very good look. He gets to this house, and this is seemingly a couple weeks later. Something like it, sometime later. He finds, people still have their stuff here. What the hell is going on? Nothing's necessarily torn up, but he calls and he's like, well, what the fuck? What's going on here? Why hasn't this happened? Or why is this happening? I gotta sell this property. Why are people staying here? Oh, they checked out a couple weeks ago. And the maid service hasn't come by. Okay. So, he finds a chair in the door. He hears, or he finds a way to open the concrete slab door. Then he decides to get a flashlight and get a knife. And he goes down that. This, by the way, is after he had a night of drinking and confessing to his friend that he had to coerce the woman that is accusing him of assaulting her, that he actually did assault her. And then he even called her that night after the drinking and talking of debauchery and apologized to her and left a voicemail. He's a piece of shit, not the character, not Justin Long's AJ, because he's ready to fly. If you're a non-wrestling fan, you don't get it. What happens is he goes down the basement. He yells, I got a gun, I got this, but he actually doesn't. He has a flashlight, a big old flashlight that he finds, and a knife, and goes down there. And then he ends up seeing this weird room with a purple light that we didn't see before. And there's this TV, this old school TV with the pull-up antennas and stuff like that. One of those portable TVs. It battery powered and shit that somehow never runs out of batteries. And this video is constantly playing of this mother nursing her child. And then he hears weird shit because he's measuring all this stuff because he's trying to sell this house. So he's got this measuring tape and he had measured down, the cave path. And then suddenly somebody pulls the measuring tape. And it's the creature that bashed Bill Skarsgård's head in. And he ends up running down and ends up falling in this pit. This pit where the lid gets slammed shut, like an old school dungeon. And then, sometime later after waking up, he's getting bandaged and Tess is alive, telling him to shut up. What the hell's going on? This creature, whatever it is, lowers a baby bottle full of milk or something She wants you just pretend to be her baby. Because the creature don't really say all that much. But it knows baby or baba, this kind of stuff, and it knows this. And what's going on? What's going on? What's happening? Well, this happens, and then we smash cut at one point. I'm not going to go through everything, but we smash cut back to Detroit and that same area. And it's a nice little area. It almost looks like a dollhouse setup, or Farmville, or The Sims. And everybody's all white and whistling. And Richard Brake's character is, driving this huge, huge, huge car. It needs like 5 parking spaces just to fit. And he is driving around. Beautiful shots, by the way, here of the car. Really capture the length of the car, and him shopping, talking about he needs his stuff because he's having a baby. It's only him, but he is going to make sure that the baby is taken care of. The baby's on the way, basically, but there's no midwife. It's just him that's going to take care of it. And that seems really creepy because he's coming out of the same goddamn house. And then he follows a woman and then pretends to be a guy, checking on the water supply. And then he leaves. And girl's beautiful, by the way. Fucking beautiful. It almost seemed like it was the 80s. The 80s posing as the 50s. Like, some of the fashions were a little questionable. But nevertheless, cut back. And Justin Long and, or AJ and Tess are there. What the fuck is going on? Why did that happen? Basically, I'm just going to end up cutting to the chase. It turns out that Richard Brake's character said he wasn't going to leave that place. Other people were moving out because the economy was crashing, because of the Reagan administration and all that. And it turns out that what this creature is it Richard Brake's character? He ended up capturing women, having babies with them. They gave birth to the babies. The babies then, when they became of age, they would have sex with each other. And then those babies would have, because this had been 40-something years, so you could do that. So after a while, even if babies ended up failing, and dying and stuff like that, which would explain the smells in the cave, what ends up happening is, it turns out that creature that can only say baby and blah, blah, this kind of stuff, and just wants to be a mother, is an example of massive incest, and is basically this demonic, deformed, insane creature that is all ready to destroy. Ready to have a baby. It, at one point, gets Justin Long. Tess escapes. She doesn't have her ID, doesn't have that stuff. That's back in the house. She manages to escape through the basement window that her and Keith, Bill Skarsgård character, opened up earlier when she got trapped down in the basement. She gets to the cops at a gas station. They don't believe her, but then she convinces them to believe her. They go to the house, and she's like, no, he's down there. He's down there. AJ's down there. She doesn't know that AJ, by the way, assaulted Art a woman? Can't say that word. Just, it sticks in my fucking craw that people fucking do that. But anyway, the cops end up leaving. She has to find a way to get in there. This one, what ended up actually happening is a little bit earlier, how she got out of that house, is that homeless guy that tried to warn her earlier pulled her out. And then she got to the gas station and stuff like that, and talked to the cops, and the homeless guy even said, if you need help, I live by the water tower. Just check me out there. So after the cops don't help her and things go really, really tits up, she manages, Justin Long's character finds that Richard Brake's character is still alive, and considering that he looked like he was at least 70 in the 80s, that means he's like 110 a year, and he is trapped down there because they've been living down there. And what is that woman? Who is that creature? Who the hell knows? He ends up, there's a whole bunch of tapes, all this stuff that he did. And he shows one of them to Justin Long, points at the TV, puts the VHS tape in. And we don't see it, but we hear it. What the fuck's wrong with you? He pulls out a gun, shoots himself. And then Justin Long takes a gun, and then he ends up accidentally shooting Tess. Because Tess got in her Jeep, ran over this creature, pinned it against the house, and then went back down, and Justin Long ended up shooting her in the gut, not meaning to. and then carries her out. They get out, and then the creature's gone. Oh no. Now they got to get to the water tower and the homeless guy. And then the homeless guy says, don't worry, she hasn't come in here in 15 years. What does she do? She breaks down the wall like she's the Hulk, rips off his arm, beats him to death with it. They run off. They run up the water tower in case they get caught. And then they break loose in Nemamoose, and now you know the plot. Then Justin Long decides, hey, I'm going to save her. Because he said a little bit earlier, talking to this homeless guy, I'm not a great guy, but maybe I can do the right thing. They get up there. Tess, who's shot, by the way, somehow managed to get up all the steps. And AJ says, hey, wait a second. This creature got up here. You're going to have to be the sacrificial one. I can get away. He throws her off. This creature somehow manages to leap down and leap through time to get underneath her to save her baby. And Tess is like, what the fuck's going on? I don't remember. And Justin Long's like, look, you slipped. That's what happened because he's a piece of shit. The creature isn't dead, by the way, even though her brains are splattered on the goddamn concrete. Rises up, pokes his eyes out, and then it's talking. The creature's talking to Tess. She's like, I can't go back. I can't go back. She pulls out the gun, shoots her, and that's it. There you go. That's the end of the movie right there. The movie is fucked up, royally fucked up, and it's goddamn wonderful. Zach Cregger, fucking phenomenal. Fucking phenomenal. A great goddamn time. This was super enjoyable. I had a great fucking time watching this. I will watch it on streaming when it drops. I encourage people to check this out in theaters. Of course, by this point, I told you everything. But if you didn't know anything about it and just wanted to know what grade I gave it, then you probably just skipped to the last few seconds. But A+. A fucking plus. It's going to be on my favorite films of the year list. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.